We are a company focused on the middle-skilled education marketplace, workforce development, and ultimately trying to help solve the middle-skilled crisis. We've been in business for quite a number of years. Our kind of DNA is around the middle skills, and we feel like there is a substantial unmet need. And so I'd like to spend the next 6 or 7 minutes talking about two things: how we're helping people who historically have not had opportunities and access that we might take for granted to be put on a path to economic mobility for themselves and their family. And then second of all, to really introduce the conversation about inviting you to the conversation with us as we think about how the workforce development system needs to change. So success for me in this conversation will be, post this meeting, we'd have conversations about how we continue to think together, work together to evolve the way the $300 billion workforce development system operates. So I'd like to talk a little bit about how you can help and give you a little context as to why I think that would be so important. The crisis challenge we're trying to solve is really best understood in terms of the skills gap. As you know, there's about 4% unemployment today. That's not a number we're as focused on as the underemployment number, which is 9%, and then there's about 63% workforce participation. So almost 35% of the US population isn't even engaged in the workforce. And then you've got a meaningful percentage of people who want better employment, but they're underemployed. And so as we look at the problem, we kind of did a little bit of math, and we said it's about $160 billion of lost productivity for the United States, $1 billion of lost productivity for two reasons. One is a skills matching problem, which many very progressive firms in this conference are helping to work through. We'll kind of draft behind that innovation and that leadership. And the second thing is just fundamentally having more people who are trained for the high growth, middle skilled occupations. And that's where we fit into the conversation. So with that in mind, how do you attack the $160 billion problem? We have taken a pretty detailed look at the workforce development system at large. McKinsey's done some interesting work on trying to put some framework around that. And this is a diagram that they've created, which we've kind of borrowed. So workforce development in the United States is $300 billion. I realize I don't normally spend my life talking about billions of things, but this is just what it is. And what the McKinsey guys have pointed out, I think astutely, is that there are a system that works or doesn't work that has a series of funders: government, employers, states, providers, social service organizations, workforce boards, public service organizations, and of course educational institutions, all ultimately trying to help employed people be upskilled or reskilled, or the underemployed. What's notable about the workforce system is it's anything but a system. It's really a constellation of independent actors who roughly kind of move in the same direction with virtually no coordination. So it's the biggest $300 billion investment that any company or any country in the world makes that has virtually no formalized coordination. We think that's not ideal. So with that in mind, what we're trying to do is to sort of make the case that Penn Foster in particular, but not limited to us, can do two things. We can serve people directly, the underemployed, the unemployed, and those who need to be upskilled. And then perhaps more importantly for this conversation, we can be a bit of the connected tissue. Some of you may be familiar with the term a keiretsu, which is the idea of interlocking business relationships, often known in the Japanese economy. We think there should be a skills keiretsu in the United States, and we want to play a role and be a catalyst, not by ourselves, but one of many who help bring different kind of coordination, different kind of synergies, and ultimately drive force multiplier effects across the workforce system to drive a higher return on investment of $300 billion and make a dent in that $160 billion market opportunity. So with that in mind, Penn Foster really focused on the middle skilled worker. That is who we are preoccupied with. We aspire to be the best organization in America in serving the second chance learner, the blue collar worker, the gray collar worker, the middle skilled, and all the relevant synonyms to that market segment. Our mission is to empower people with skills, knowledge, confidence, and competence so they can go on and ultimately have a pathway in their life to drive economic mobility for them and their families. And our strategy for doing that is to partner with leading organizations, platform companies, staffing companies, other educational institutions, employers, anyone who cares about that cohort. We think we should be sitting down, at least exploring a conversation, because we think there's value to be unlocked for you and your organization, and perhaps more importantly for the students at large, the 80 million people who are middle skilled workers in the United States. So with that in mind, what we've tried to do is build a capability set that allows us to play at a very different kind of scale. So we will have enrolled 170,000 students in the last 12 months in our institution. That would have either come direct through the consumer or through our institutional partnerships. We have a scaled technology platform and infrastructure, best-in-class competency-based learning, 5,000 content units. We have a fully accredited high school, career school, and college. and we bring to bear those capabilities in a self-paced learning model for this middle skill workforce, which needs on-ramps and off-ramps for their upskilling. And then we work with employers to curate where they go in employment. Last year we graduated about 45,000 people out of our high school, career school, and college, the vast majority of which were adults. With that in mind, we have a very broad portfolio oriented around high-growth, middle-skilled occupations, from veterinary to hospitality retail. We're the largest skilled trades training company in America, for example. We're the largest veterinary training organization in the country. We have a robust allied health, arts and design. So we're really ultimately trying to drive growth for the marketplace of the middle skilled and have programs available to do that. I'm going to skip ahead in a couple of slides. I said, ultimately, we are an organization that we describe ourselves as purpose with a profit, and we measure our success by virtue of outcomes. And so we measure outcomes both in graduates, confidence, increases in confidence, and ultimately how they do in the workplace. And we're very maniacal about measuring the value as defined by the student based on the work we do with them. We have many partners. We have government, employers, colleges, social purpose organizations, an aggregate number of 500 or 600 partners. And back to this notion of making a dent in the workforce development system and playing a more curational role to get more value out of it. Every one of those organizations has a goal to try to help improve their employees or their students or whoever they serve. We think we can help enable them to do that, and we're looking for partners to help us be better at what we do and in kind help you and your organizations deliver on that promise. And these are just representative samples of the kind of people we coordinate with. We announced yesterday with Road Trip Nation and Strata basically a one-year program to really build a brand around not Penn Foster, but around this new conversation about the blue-collar skills economy. We think there's a very inadequate branding. There should be a Got Milk campaign around Got Skills, and it should be about middle skilled. And so we're going to build a year-long media program culminating in a PBS special next spring in 2018. And anyone who wants to learn more about that and be a part of it, we're looking for other partners and sponsors to help bring that to life. And last but not least, we ultimately don't think we can make the dent we need to make without the help of other people and other institutions who are like-minded in terms of their value system, like-minded in terms of the type of students they serve, like-minded in terms of their commitment to really making an impact on the social level and driving economic value for your shareholders and yourselves in the process. And so we're here to say we'd love to get the help, and please find me. Thank you very much.